Jeez.
I saw that on a meme once. So,
Oh, golly. Rude and accurate, but rude
can y'all super
nevertheless.
chat to cover my legal fees of this suit? So, guys, welcome into Live on Two Wheels. So we're going to start out talking about, is the Honda Hornet coming to the United States? So there's been some publications out there that may have leaked some registrations with the U.S. for the CB750 Hornet. There's also the CB1000SP is what we're seeing. That may also have the Hornet moniker. I don't know how that always sticks, but and then there may be a couple others that are sprinkled in. But the Honda Hornet got quite a bit of attention a couple years ago when it was announced, and so it looks like we finally might be getting that.
It would be nice. I mean, it took Yamaha a couple years to get us the Tenere 700. It took them a couple years, I think, a year and a half to get us the Transalp. So it's pretty on brand for the European bikes to come out first before they make their way over here. I know Chase has actually ridden a Hornet. I think it's on video, actually. If you go look at the Bridgestone launch he did in South Africa last year, the year before.
Okay.
I believe he got the chance to ride a Hornet during that launch. I don't know if that clip made it into the video, but go check out that video, ask him questions about it.
Yeah, I know he had a few bikes that were down there just that were either on the cusp of coming out or, like the Hornet we don't have here in the States yet. So
yeah, exactly.
That's a pretty awesome opportunity. I know so oftentimes these bikes, they come out in the European market first, and we Americans get angry that why isn't it here? And I feel like we have to trust that these OEMs know what they're doing with their market research, kind of just rolling it out. It's probably some production ramp up as well. I don't know if you have any insight on that as well.
A lot of these bikes are built either in Japan or in Europe or in other parts of Asia, and it's much cheaper to ship them to Europe than it is to get them all the way over here to North America. So, it's one of those things where they build so many of them and ship them to the European market, see how they do, and see if it's even worth them kind of wasting, I don't want to say wasting their time, but if it's worth them putting in the effort to get them to America, spend the extra money to get them certified and all the EPA and fun stuff, everything we need to do over here to make a bike legal. So I get where they're coming from, but also heckin' annoying.
Yeah, well, 'tis true. But it seems the wait is over. And so a year after the Transalp, we're finally getting that 755 parallel twin in the Hornet, which I think is also anticipated. It'll be interesting to see if that CB1000 comes with it as well, like the Hornet version of it. And
I don't know, because they discontinued the regular CB1000 in North America a couple years ago. So
yeah, but now
I'd
they
like
have
to see it come back.
Yeah, they've been doing the CB, number and then the R as kind of the retro. That's what they've been having out now with the CB300R. There's the CB650R and the CB1000R, which is kind of the retro, I guess, cafe vibe with the round headlight. I have always liked the Hornet style. So if you look at the CB500F that's out, that kind of has more of that Hornet style. I've always been a fan of that one. I've always liked the angular, sharp looking thing. So
I feel like Honda does a good job of doing that angular sharp thing without it looking like a bug.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a fan of
Kawasaki. Yamaha and Kawasaki.
Well, Kawasaki Z line has got the very kind of sharp lines. And I've always liked that. But yeah, to your point, sometimes it's it's just all sharp lines and very Nintendo 64 vibes,
we do love a 64-bit bike,
But no, I like that. So here's a question for you.
Sure.
What do you think the price would be? Like, what would be a fair price based upon other Hondas and versus the competitors? So, as some ammunition, that's just out there. Like
I don't know.
The UK price, I looked it up. Translated. Converted. That's it. Converted to US dollars is approximately 9,500.
Okay, so that kind of makes sense because the Transop's 10 grand.
99.99, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's a dollar. I'm calling it 10.
Yeah.
Um,
But it's under 10,000, Pat. That's the big marketing.
yeah, okay. Um, but I think that's an okay price point. I mean, what else is at that price? What's the Z650 cost? What's an
So I was
MTO7 cost?
Yeah, so I was about to run down some of the list of
What's
what
the
I'll call the regular brands. I'm excluding the Europeans because they're a little bit more premium and maybe
Sure,
in
sure,
a
sure.
different echelon. Ooh, how about that word?
Yeah.
Oh, echelon. All right. So here's some numbers. Kawasaki Z650.
Yep.
Of course, it's on the lower end.
To Kawasaki's $7,000 bike, when's the last time they updated that thing?
It has been a while. So they probably, and if you actually go to their website and you look at the Z650, they have their old MSRP marked out of 81.49, and it's now like for non-ABS 72.49.
Okay, so
So
does the Honda? I assume the Honda would have ABS.
the Honda would have ABS.
So let's go apples to apples. The Z650. So what's those with ABS? Like 8,700, 8,500 bucks or something like that? Is their old MSRP?
Their old MSRP is 86.50, and now it's 77.50.
Yeah, as it should be because they haven't updated it in like 900 years or whatever it was.
Right.
I mean, they're not
But
nearly as bad as Suzuki's DRZ, which finally got its update after 30 years. But anyway, that's here nor there. Um, I mean, I think it's a brand new bike to the US at least from Honda. It's gonna have a bunch of decent tech in it. It's a hot new item. I think that $10,000 mark might be a hair high.
mm-hmm.
Um, I'd like to see that closer to like 9 grand or 9,200. I think
Yeah.
is kind of the sweet spot for that bike.
I mean, the Honda bikes, looking at their competitors across, the Hondas typically are a little bit more. I'm thinking of like, you look at the CBR 500 compared to like a Ninja 500, and it's almost, what, $2,000 more? It's like, or
Hmm.
$1,600 more. And that's, but I don't know, that Honda refinement and, using some
No
kind
hate
of,
on Kawasaki. I've had quite a few. I know you have one. I feel like Honda's just like their, I think the best word you used, refinement of like their controls and every little thing about those bikes is just a little bit nicer than what Kawaii's been putting out lately.
yeah, I agree.
I think the
So,
Kawaii's feel plasticky and cheap,
mm,
but you also get that you get a little bit nicer price point for that. So
right. And of course, the Kawasaki engine is a little smaller, so that
yeah,
price is. Um, so if we go on up a little bit, let's look at Yamaha's MT-07, a little bit more in line with it. That MSRP is 85.99.
yeah, I think that's further cementing that I think the Honda needs to be at like 9 grand.
Right. So let's next step up. I threw in the CF Moto 800 NK because that's
Okay.
in the ballpark. 86.99 for that.
Yeah, I feel like with that bike, that should compete more with like the MT09, less with the
Mm-hmm.
MT07.
Because it has 100 horsepower.
Yeah, your
It
triple digit
comes with
horsepower. It's come with a bunch of neat tech.
cruise control.
Yeah, the CF I think, but in this price category, you're getting MT09 style, performance, and size, and the feel of that
Mm-hmm.
bike.
Right, but the
For
price is still
but the price is still, I mean, it's a little high for the category. I think the Kawasaki is even at $8,600 is probably priced a little high. I think their $7,700 price point is where that bike ought to be, if not even a little less than that, just again from its age.
mm-hmm.
The MT07, I love it. It's a great bike, super cool. Uh, they've done some updates to that bike, but not a massive overhaul as of late. I mean, like again, updates and facelifts and different headlights and stuff like that, but I don't think they've done like a full ass overhaul or anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that price point is you're paying for Yamaha quality there and Yamaha reliability. That CP2 engine is a fucking monster. So That price point makes sense, and I like the CF Moto's price point for the fact that it's basically an MT09 from a different brand, but you're getting it for MT07 money.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. But I still think it falls in this conversation. And
No, I agree.
one more bike to add to that, Suzuki's GSX 8S. So
The Gixatus.
the Gixatus, which is, you got a guess on that price?
I want to say that's like right at 9 grand, isn't it?
9209.
9209. Yeah, okay. So I mean, historically, the Honda ought to be 9 grand to 9400 is probably where that bike ought to land.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, again, the price conversion puts it at about 9500, which, typically when you
it's
see,
about right.
yeah, for a Honda, okay, if it's more than 9500, I think it's starting to price itself way out of the category.
Yeah, I think it's great that they're bringing it. I like that 750 engine on the Transalp. Um, I think the gearing on I think Chase, if I recall, had mentioned that the gearing on the standard Hornet he rode was too long. He didn't get that punchy feel that the Transalp has.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that Transalp motor is really, really good. And I know that the bike is really well built. It's going to be a quality machine. Um, but it's it's not a category that I'm necessarily super concerned with. So like I don't have a lot of personal like
Yeah.
connection with it.
Yeah, fair enough. For those in chat of these bikes in kind of that middle weight, middle range, naked bike, which one would you choose? So we've got, of course, the CB750 Hornet from Honda that we estimate to be low mid 9,000s. Kawasaki Z650 for 7,750. Yamaha MTO7, excuse me, 85.99. CF Moto 800 NK for 86.99. Suzuki Gixatus for 92.09. If it's your money, which one are you buying? It would be interesting to see because, I mean, of course, it's all personal preference. Like, what is it that you're looking at? If you want a little bit of the tech, the CF Moto actually has the edge in that regard.
Mm-hmm. It's
If
also
you're,
it's a little bit bigger as well. So for bigger fellas like myself, it feels more like an MT09 than an MT07.
mm-hmm.
So if you want a bike that feels a little more substantial, I think the CF's a great way to go. Um, I am just a big Yamaha boy myself. Small bore makes a really great point with the Ibex 450. Totally unrelated bike, but
Yeah, same
uh,
category.
yeah. Um, I would be somewhere between the MT07 and the NK 800. I'm leaning NK 800 purely for the fact that it's a bigger, more substantial bike.
Mm-hmm. And just would suit your needs.
Yeah, I'm a big boy.
Yeah.
That Gixatus is a fantastic fucking bike though.
Yeah, we got a couple votes for that.
Yeah, actually, I honestly, yeah, I mean, I'm sticking with the Yamaha. Sorry.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm really interested. There is something about, like we've talked about it, Honda's just kind of build quality. There's just something about that makes you go, man, it's a Honda.
Yeah,
So,
it's that like guaranteed Honda reliable. I mean, that Honda reliability. I mean, it's hard to fight that, and I think that's kind of my thing about nice. I think that's kind of my thing about Yamaha is like that CP2 engine. We know for a fact is the most reliable parallel twin on the market. It has been independently tested over and over and over again. I believe it was a German company that independently tested it years ago that it's the most reliable motorcycle engine. Period.
wow.
Like, yeah, you're not gonna find a more reliable bike than an MT07. You're just or a T7. Anything with that CP2 engine. Mm.
So what do you think that the Hornet would need to bring to really stand out above these competitors?
Um,
Or do you think it really is just the personal preference of people and reputation?
I think it's a lot of personal preference and reputation with the brand. What's up, Iceman? But I think it they need to bring some tech with it. It's gonna need to come ABS or at least optioned for ABS. A quick shifter would be really nice. I know Honda does not typically include quick shifters on a lot of their bikes. Um, for something like that, like I'm not expecting cruise control, but it would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really expect it. It's not really what that bike is meant for. Um, I don't know. I mean, it's got to have everything the Yamaha has and then some for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like if someone was like, if they were the same price, it's gonna have to have everything the Yamaha has and more for me to dissuade me off of Yamaha.
Okay.
What about you?
I mean, I don't know. I'm thinking about like what would be the purpose of the bike? Are you
Yeah.
using it just for around town? Are you wanting a lower cost of ownership type of thing? Um, I mean, I don't know. I like the MT-07. When I rode one of those, I mean, it's just got a little spunk to it.
Yeah, it's such a
Um,
good bike.
the Z650 is really good too. I felt, it was about the same, maybe a little behind the MT-07. But again, for, you know, what is that, $900 cheaper? I don't know. I haven't got to ride the Suzuki yet.
Um, yeah, I've done a little bit of riding on the Suzuki. I've not ridden the Cowie in a long time,
Hmm.
but I don't know if that matters. I don't think it's changed much.
I did ride the 800 NK, and um, I liked it, but I wasn't just like blown away by it.
Sure.
And I don't know if that was because I had expectations and it was like, oh, it met my expectations because
Yep.
I
It
read the
it
spec sheet and it did that.
it did
Good.
everything I wanted it to do.
Whereas I think
Boring.
with that, like, but the MT-07 and the Z650, I felt like a little bit impressed with it. Like, I
Sure.
guess it punched above its weight. So,
Yeah.
um, I don't know. Like, I don't know. They're just all good. I just want all the bikes. Um,
Yeah, yeah. If I could just have all of them, it would be nice.
Honda needs to do more like demo days. They've done like one in the past 2 years that I know about.
Yeah, they do a lot of demo days at events,
Yeah.
but they won't put on their own event to do a demo day. So like if you go to Moto America, you'll see generally a Honda truck at Moto America at a lot
Daytona
of their
Bike Week,
events.
that's happening.
They're down at Daytona Bike. They have a huge booth at Daytona Bike Week right now. It's massive. They do a lot of demos at their Supercross stuff as well.
Hmm.
So I mean, they do demos at events, but they don't generally just do demo events, you know?
Maybe I
That's
just
my
need to track.
experience at least.
Maybe I need to track some of those down. Then
Darn, might have to.
might have to.
Might be doing MotoGP this year as well. We'll see. But
So very interesting. With this coming to the U.S. allegedly, good move or bad move by Honda, or just eh?
I mean, I think it's a good move. I think it's they've noticed that the Trades Up 750 has really sold very well here in the US.
Mm-hmm.
It's brought a lot of people who are considering sport tour or kind of touring or adventure bikes into the market. Just as the T7 did for Yamaha. I think the T7 did it a little better, but that's more for the hardcore off-road guys. Although Dork in the Road does make a great Dork in the Road, it does make a great point, read chat, that
Oh.
like you can absolutely off-road the Transop. It's not nearly as incapable as people thought it was going to be when it first came out. It is a very capable machine. Um, but I I think the Hornet 750 is going to be a great spot for Honda. They've got their CB750, they've got the CB1000, and that's a big jump. Or
Mm-hmm.
I guess they've got their 650 too, but that's still they've got the CBR 650. But if you're kind of into that naked bike, I think it's a good spot for them. Charles, I am not contractually obligated to simp for Yamahas. I am just actually a Yamaha simp even before I met Chase. So, um,
I mean,
just have to call it what it is.
they
I am a
have good
simp for
stuff.
Yamaha, but
Okay, so
Show me a better bike for the money.
out of the bikes
That's what I
listed,
thought.
yeah, out of the bikes listed, best looking one.
Shit.
Because I'll be
For,
honest, I'm putting the MT-07 dead last on the looks.
yeah, no, the MT-07's fugly.
Yeah,
No, to be fair, I think it's the Cowie last, the MT-07 just above it, but not by a lot. They're tied for last. They're golf scoring it. They're well under par. Um, but I, th
mm.
oh God. So starting at the bottom, it's the Yamaha, the Cowie are really, really close. Um, the Suzuki is almost too tame for me. I want it to be. I don't know. I want there to be more design around the back of the bike. They did a really good job with the front, and the back just feels unfinished to me.
It just goes whoop,
Yeah, it's just like, and we're done. We're
and
gonna,
then slap the fender on.
yeah, slap a giant ugly ass fender on the back. And see how it
That
goes.
is it does stick out.
It's terrible. Assuming we fender delete all of them, the Suzuki actually places quite high.
Uh,
So I think it's starting at the bottom. It's Cowie, Yamaha, Honda, CF Moto, Suzuki. I think the Suzuki looks really good. I don't know. The CF Moto is really good. I hate the back seat on the CF Moto. I think it looks stupid. It's a little raised platform. It looks dumb. But I
mm,
like a lot of the styling of the rest of the CF Moto. Um, and I feel like Cowie's trying too hard with the Z650. They've just like, we're doing buggy and smooth lines and also angular stuff and also crazy colors, and the Honda's kind of boring
you know, I'm kind of attracted to the Honda because of
because it's
it
boring. It's
because
subtle.
it's not trying too hard. Like you
Yeah,
said, I can I like the Z650, but when you say it like it's trying too hard with all the, I
yeah,
was like, yeah, it's a little busy. There's a lot
yeah.
going on, and you
Which,
almost
like, if you're into
lose.
that, cool.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just
I
not
mean,
into that.
I don't know. I think I like the Hornet because it kind of
Mhm.
has a good blend of the sharp angles, like I was telling you about, but it's not just like futuristic stealth bomber type.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know.
that's what I like about the Suzuki is it's got that crazy headlight on it.
Yeah,
Like the headlight, the front end on that Suzuki is very cool. And I feel like
it still has
the
like that stacked headlight thing though.
yeah, I
That's a
kind of
little weird to me.
I dig the stacked headlights, man.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I'm also a fan of
Okay.
asymmetric headlights.
Oh, like the old BMWs that have like the Forrest Whitaker face.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Damn. Like
sorry.
the older GS headlight looks really good to me, but like god damn.
Sorry.
Jeez. We're gonna
I saw that on a meme once. So
oh golly.
can
Rude and accurate, but rude
can y'all super chat to
nevertheless.
cover my legal fees of this suit? That's
Yeah, you know, we're gonna get demonetized already. I haven't even said fuck yet.
that's the second time.
Have I said number two already?
I made a mental note of like, well, I'm going to bleep that.
Ah, shit. Anyway,
Oh gosh. Well, I don't know. I think it's a cool bike. I really does
no,
hope that
like
it.
I'm excited for Honda to be coming out swinging with you know, again, the Hornet and the treads up and maybe a CB1000 Hornet SP. That would be super cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see it. I don't know if we will, but it would be nice. I can make some calls at Honda. That being said, during that Honda True Adventure Tour last year,
Mm-hmm.
speaking of making calls to Honda engineers, I got to spend 4 days with a bunch of Honda engineers. And me and Dork and a couple of other people begged them to take the 300 Rally, put the 450 engine in it, detune it a little bit, pull some compression out so it's got less crazy service intervals. And they were like, "Oh, nobody will want that." And we're like, "No, no, no. Everyone wants that. We only buy the 300 because the 450 is not available. It's the only reason you sell the 300 is because the 450 isn't available." And I've heard, maybe, possibly, through a grapevine that may or may not be associated with that brand, but there is a test mule that has been built.
So maybe you've had a little influence.
I'm not asking for royalties, but I am asking for a bike. Just saying.
That's a good royalty, actually.
I mean, listen, the bike's probably cheaper than the royalty would be. I'm expensive. Anyway.
Yeah, along with this though, Honda could be bringing maybe a Rebel 300 with the e-clutch. Very much targeting that beginner segment.
I think they need to do a totally different thing with that bike.
Like throw it away?
I didn't say that. That's not what I said. But no, I think they need to do a 650 or a 750 with the e-clutch. They have the 650 engine with the e-clutch already on it. Put it in a Rebel. Give a Rebel decent horsepower because the 300's a turd. The 500 is okay. The 1000 is almost too, or like the 1100 is almost too much engine for that bike. For like it still wanting to be a starter bike, but not a starter bike. Like, I think the 650 with the e-clutch, like get rid of the 300, get rid of the 500, do a 650 with an e-clutch, and do the 1100. Let there be two Rebels. Call it a day.
I guess because with those cruisers, if you tune them more for torque, you know, they're a little bit more approachable, even though they're a higher CC. They're not going to be overwhelming for a beginner.
Yeah, I mean, the damn Harley Nightster is a 1250.
That's fun.
That's a starter bike? The fuck?
well, Harley does some ridiculous things.
They like to. Yeah, that's true.
Which we'll talk about here in a second. But anyway, Honda Hornet, hopefully come to the U.S. You know, generally speaking, the more options for bikes, I mean, that's just great. We
more
just
bikes, more better.
More bikes, more selection, more competition means hopefully better prices for us. So,
ideally.
So let's go Honda, and thank you for the Hornet.
Go Big Red.
Wasn't that a gum?
Maybe
a chewing gum. Wasn't Big Red like a cinnamon chewing gum like back in the day?
I think so, but Big Red's also what Honda calls their like internal race team.
Chew on that, people.